Hi everyone, this is Charles Joe with ledgerback, and for this video I'm just going to be going over one question on the DAO Index questionnaire version 0.9, and specifically going to be focusing on Uniswap. So I already completed this preliminary analysis, so I already have some of the sources already obtained, so it's gonna go a little bit faster than what if you were doing this yourself, but it's just meant to be a representative example of how you would answer a question on the DAO Index. And so since we're going to focus specifically here on Uniswap, I'm just going to pick here this question with the ID OT-4, and this is under the organizational technology principle. And so as you can see here, yeah, I'll just bring it up, and I do recommend using Airtable to help with actually answering the questions. It just makes it a lot easier to deal with a lot of the fields, so it makes it a little bit faster. So and everything gets identified based on its question ID. So always when you see the first column, that's the question ID, and that's how everything's going to be ID'd. So then going to the actual question itself, does the DAO currently use any Web3 organizational technology for decision making? So primarily what we're looking for with this question is really whether the DAO actually uses any Web3 tech for, as I said, decision making. So this could be for voting, could be on-chain or off-chain voting. Pretty much any tool you can use, which can actually, which is Web3 or is a technology tool which you could use for decision making. So as I was saying, that could be voting, could even be the determination of which voting methods to use. It's pretty much got to be a tool which can actually be used to make a decision. And so for Uniswap, got 100 points. Basically got a yes here with the plain English. Once again, you also have 5 options. Sorry, the Y should probably be removed, but yes, partial, no, doesn't answer question, or not applicable. This question is applicable, and it's a yes. So therefore, Uniswap gets 100 points. And so the explanation, I'll just explain the reason why Uniswap received a yes for this question. The reason why: Uniswap has a voting dashboard on the Uniswap website for unique token holders to run proposals regarding smart contracts. Uniswap utilizes Governor Bravo, which comes from Compound, and additionally, Uniswap uses Snapshot. And Snapshot is primarily for off-chain voting. But as you can see, we have about 3 tools, which are Web3 tools, which Uniswap is using to allow token holders to primarily to run proposals, but run proposals through making decisions. So decision making, and I always recommend regarding guidance on trying to figure out how to answer the questions. Some of the questions I do have actual links to help kind of provide a guide or somewhat of a good model to look at to help understand how to respond to the question, or at least how to see whether what you're looking at does make sense to help answer the question, whether it should be a yes or a no or partial. And so the guidance there would be MakerDAO's voting dashboard, which is pretty nice as well. Okay, and so search difficulty for this one was for me actually pretty easy, because luckily Uniswap just mentioned in their docs where to find all this information, so it made it really easy to find, and I could also find a snapshot. So at least for this one, the difficulty was actually pretty minimal. And so if you have any documents which you're actually citing, you should make it sure to put it under the document field, And so that's why it's really nice to use Airtable, because you can link to other tables, since you can have relational tables with Airtable. So this way we can relate this table to the documents table and link it to all these documents. And so we go to Uniswap docs, but going through the actual search process again. Originally I started at Uniswap docs. It's always good to start with the DAO's docs. Makes a lot. It's usually a really good starting point, and usually most DAOs have a good amount of their information there already, so usually saves you some time. So from here, we go to the docs, then we go to the concepts, go governance. Now we can just go to, I think it's overview. Okay, and see, as you can see here, Governor Bravo. So clearly, Uniswap let us know what smart contracts they're using. And here we go to the process. Here explain governance venues. So as you can see, here's the governance portal. That's included. And here's snapshot. And once again, actually no difference. Yeah. And so, of course, you have the forum, which is here at gov.uniswap.org. And so here's the governance portal. And here's snapshot. So this is where I got the information from. And of course, if we go back here, I'm sorry. So here's the actual document itself. But if we go back to just the documents, and see it's all three of them are here, because all three help inform us of how to respond to the question. And so since Uniswap just put it here in the process, this makes it really easy to find. And the docs is usually an authoritative source, so generally one of the first places you would actually look. So if we go to snapshots and we open up the governance portal, okay, taking a little while. Sorry about that. So let's just move on to the Uniswap interface. And so here we have Uniswap governance. As you can see, we can see all the proposals, what's been executed, what's not. So this governance portal would also be a tool that can be used to, for decision making. So you can create proposals. I think you can also delegate as well. Oh, like I said, that was a problem. So it's just timing out. I'm not sure if the snapshot page will open, but anyway, as you can see, you can create a proposal. You can see what's been executed and canceled. So that's why you can pretty much keep track, and by using this interface on the Uniswap website, you can actually vote. So yeah, therefore make decisions. So yeah, it looks like Uniswap is not opening, but as you can see here from the Uniswap docs, it's clear to see which tools they're using, what three tools they're using for governance. Okay, now going back to the documents, as you can see, all three are listed here. Search difficulty, gave of easy, but as you can see, it's pretty easy to find if you just go to the Uniswap docs, and the docs are a pretty authoritative source. So if when you first start searching for things regarding DAOs, you're pretty much just going to go to the DAO's main websites, and usually they have a link to their docs. It's pretty much kind of expected for DAOs to have a link to their docs on their website, so it's pretty easy to find. Sometimes it can be a little confusing on where the information is in the docs, but luckily this time is actually pretty easy to find. And so that's pretty much how you answer, respond to a question. And additional thing you can also do is add tags. This also makes it a little bit easier to tell what's contained in the actual explanation and in the response. So this way it makes it a little bit easier to compare responses between DAOs. So we know that Uniswap uses snapshot, so we put down snapshot as a tag, and they have their own voting portal. So you can also just put down voting portal, and we also have to use Governor Bravo. So we're going to put down Governor Bravo. This way it should be a little bit easier for people who come after to see how the responses, and then be able to understand them just by taking a quick look. And so yeah, that's pretty much how you answer a question on the DAO Index version 0.9. And here we're using the Uniswap pattern analysis as an example. And if you have any notes, make sure to always write down your notes as you're going along, because there really is, there are many things to look over, and so it's really good to have write down your notes as you're going along. So this way you don't forget things, and it makes it a lot easier when you're going to review your completed questionnaire. To know what you were thinking at the time. Okay, and then another thing you could also do is add snippets. Though we don't necessarily need one here, but you can always go back to the document. So for example, we go back to here to the Uniswap docs. We could just copy this, then put this down as a snippet, so we can be more specific about what we're citing, and this way it makes it a little bit easier to understand what's exactly what information we're exactly looking for, and this makes it a little bit easier to review. So yeah, that's pretty much how you go about just answering a question, and then an explanation. You just kind of write down, or just try to explain why you gave the score that you did. So pretty much I'm just trying to explain why I gave yes for plain English, why I gave 100 points. I'm pretty much actually writing out a response to the question. So does it have this? I'm like, yes, Uniswap has that. Uniswap has this. And so that's pretty much an example of how you would answer a question with the DAO Index questionnaire version 0.9. Hopefully you found this to be informative and helpful. And if you're interested in the DAO Index, I recommend just going to ledgerback's pub page on the district_governance framework, since it's a project within the district_governance framework. Additionally, you can also go to the Ledgerback website at www.ledgerback.xyz, or you can hit Ledgerback up on Twitter with the handle @Ledgerback. Really, other than that, if you have any questions, comments, or other feedback, just send a message. You can also send an email to ledgerback@gmail.com, and I'll send a response. But anyway, thanks for listening. Hopefully, you found this informative. Hopefully, this might encourage you to look at the DAO Index and hopefully use it, and provide some feedback on it as well. And once again, I'm Charles Gilvey. I'm with Ledgerback, and thank you guys for listening in.